Okay, so thank you. I'm Faizan. And I'm an undergrad at Waterloo. So today I'm talking about Myopoint. So let's say we have a display like this one here. So how do we interact with this in midair? Well, for instance, we might want to point, and we might want to click. So what would that look like? Well, it might look something like this here. So this is from WIST 05. Vogel developed a relative pointing technique, and as you can see, this actually works pretty well. But there's a problem. This uses a Vicon for cursor tracking. Now, those are great if you want to always stay in your lab. But what we're interested in is it possible to take this and basically do this without the Vicon? And if it is possible, what does that look like? And how does it perform compared to this? Because this works pretty well. So we developed Myopoint. And I know what you're about to say. You're about to say, well, this is the same thing. What changed? Well, it's almost the same. There's no Vicon. So this you can take with you pretty much any place you want. So how did we do that? Well, we use a device called the Myo. So this is an 8-channel EMG band with a 9-axis IMU. So the IMU handles tracking, and the EMG gives us gesture delimiters. So this band is capable of tracking 5 discrete poses, which you can see up over here. And of those, we use 2, the tense open hand and the closed fist. So basically, there are these 3 core actions that you can do with Myopoint. So there's pointing, clutching, and clicking. So pointing is done with generally a loose posture, and then clutching is done with the clenched fist, and finally clicks are done with the tense open hand posture. So combined, it looks something like this. So you can see pointing here with the loose posture, and now the clutch. And then finally, we can see some clicks. Okay, so Myopoint is not active all the time. Of course, that would be pretty bad. So you have to activate it, and then you can deactivate it as well. So in its deactive state, the cursor is grayed out, and then to activate, you perform a clutch, but you perform it down by your side, and then you bring your arm up, and this lets you orient your arm to the cursor. And then to deactivate, it's basically the same thing as the activate, but the reverse. So in practice, this looks something like this. Here's the activate, and then the deactivate. So we basically replicated Vogel's study and took the results there as a good upper bound on our performance. So basically it's a 2D pointing task with combined fits IDs ranging from 3.37 to 7.98, and there were 14 participants total. And here you can see some of the tasks. So this is an activation, and now some of our medium-sized targets. And then we can see the same thing, but with our small targets, and those are pretty tiny, so it was not an easy task at all. So let's take a look at the results. So in terms of our average time for the task completion, across our fits IDs, we're about 500 milliseconds slower. And in terms of our error, at the medium target, we're just under 20%. I believe it was 18 point something. But I would like to point out here that Vogel's error results only counted click down, whereas we chose to count click down and click up, which is a much tougher metric. So again, over here we see that these are sort of worst case errors. So basically, we think that it is definitely possible to sort of take these techniques that are developed with sort of only lab situations concerned, and with some low-cost sensing, actually take them out of the lab and get them into places where people can actually do things with them. Thank you.
Jun from KIST. I just wonder, how did you track the 2D positions using Myo? Because Myo does not provide tracking 2D positions according to their specs.
No. We have. So I didn't get to talk about that, but if you look at the paper, we have a custom transfer function developed, and the details of that are all in the paper.